Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. Our topic for the day is guiding students to question prejudice and to express her viewpoints on the same. We have with us Rupika Tandon, ma'am, Vice Principal of Arunodaya Public School. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing very well, enjoying the first day of our vacations, the autumn break, a short one, but nevertheless, yeah.
That's really great, ma'am. So, ma'am, let's start off with the session, ma'am, shall we?
Please do. Yes.
So, ma'am, firstly, what are some of the common prejudice that you have seen in students?
See, nowadays, children, when they are born, normally they are not having any prejudices. But as they grow up, the first prejudice which I will say, impose on these children is the toy. The very first toy for a girl is going to be a doll.
Yeah.
For a boy, it is going to be a car or something of that sort. So that is the beginning of the prejudices. So the first prejudice which usually these children have is gender bias. Being a boy, whether we like it or not, in Indian setup, we are always having a bias towards the male boy. When the boy is there, he is the apple of the eye. And the girls, whether they like it or not, they might not admit, but yes, whenever there is a comparison, that gender bias is there. Brought up by the family. It's no outside influence, but it is usually the family itself who are ingraining or drilling into them, so that when the boy and these children grow up, this is what is happening, that the boy will never pick up his dirty linen. It will be the girl who's supposed to make up the bed, who is supposed to has to serve the dinner and all. So these are usually in the North India. I would say that this is there, whether people admit it or not. Yes, now that we are having single child is there, and if it is a girl, then of course the girl also enjoys all those privileges. The second one, I would say, towards the religion also. These children, it is not bad. A religion, no religion is teaching anything wrong, but the intolerance towards the other religion is also indirectly, I guess, we are teaching. I remember, in fact, it is a recent incident, and I came home very disturbed. So there was a child, the two children, they approached me, and there was a huge letter that the one of them was a Surd and the other one came from a Hindu family. So they said, so I got this letter that this Hindu child has said something annoying about the religion. So I called upon him and I was trying to, 11-year-old child am I talking about. So I said, listen, child, we all were Hindus initially, and this is how the Sikhism came into being, and this and that. You know what the child said? Ma'am, that was long time ago. Now we are different and these Hindus are different. So in the manner that the child spoke, I could make it that, something in the family, this kind of talks are there in the family, which is making the child so strong, taking such a staunch stand on this, that no, we are different. So in the school, then I had to say, I said, see, and the parent also, then I called upon the parent, because then I thought it should be brought to the child parents notice also. But I found the same beliefs reciprocated again. So I had to then tell them in a stricter sense. I said, let the religion be outside the school boundary. I am a teacher and the child is here as a student. So these two are there. Plus they have certain prejudices. The third one, I would say, towards their career. This career is good and this career is bad. If the parents are doctors, the child will have to be a doctor. No other option is left for the child. If the child is the parents were an engineer, or the chacha or some other relative has done well being a CA and all that, so it is drilled into their mind that, see, this is the career path that you should take. which is why I have a field day when 11th class streams are to be decided. So it is only science, or if it is commerce, then it has to be with maths. Otherwise, humanities or commerce without maths is of no use. So these are the common ones, I would say, which I face on daily basis.
Absolutely, ma'am. And it's very, disturbing hearing from a
Absolutely.
11-year-old, what we just
Yes,
mentioned, that religion, that we are teaching religion hatred to the students
true.
for 11th year, sorry, 11 year
For an,
old
for an,
student.
yes, for an 11 year, and the way the child immediately retorted, I was very disturbed for a day or two. Then I discussed with other family members of mine also. And then they said, see, you cannot do much about it. So gradually and slowly, you are not wrong. You have to keep your stand. But then you cannot influence a child to a very deeper inside if that kind of this family environment is there. So that
Absolutely.
part is there. Yeah.
Very beautifully explained, ma'am. Moving
Yeah.
forward, ma'am, how do you think, as you just mentioned that career biasness and this religion one, how does, this affect students' upbringing from certain biasness things?
Definitely it gets affected. But any prejudice, it first of all hampers the creativity, the imagination of a child. As a 24th century student now, now all these children are going to are very well into the 21st century, and we talk about soft skills, about storytelling, about imagination. These are the soft skills which we expect an educator to imbibe amongst the students. But whenever these prejudices are there, very clearly it will hamper the creativity, the imagination. This child who has been given so stricter path to follow will not be able to enjoy the beauty of the nature, getting up in the morning, enjoying the sunrises, cannot enjoy the beauty which life has to offer. It becomes a very straight handed, and they cannot look here and there. So these prejudices, they do not allow that to happen. And it also affects the intelligence of the child. The intelligence is about the family. Then whatever beliefs we are ingraining inside the child, in the brain of that child, then the child cannot think beyond it, and that can really have a very long lasting impression. It can result in depression. I remember long time ago there was this child who took up science and wanted to be an engineer, and IIT had to be an engineer through an IIT only. So the child was, I will not say that the child wasn't capable, but he couldn't crack IIT. Understandable, it's not an easy thing to do. And I've seen that child going into depression. The child, next time when the child came to me for the TC and taking and all this, so I said, see, you should always have a plan B with you.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult. I mean, by that time the damage was done, and I really felt helpless at that time. So all along, maybe it was the child's mindset, but child mindset is always due to the family pressure, I would say, the parents' pressure, or maybe the child thinks it that way. For example, there is another thinking amongst these children. You have any kind of career guidance, this thing is there. So the first question these children put across to the person, to the resource person is, sir, what will be the pay package? So money is important. This generation is very materialistic, I would say. Job satisfaction and the other things which will actually matter a lot in the later life. As of now, it is all money that they talk about. Whether I'm getting a good package, if I'll be having a sporty car, that is enough for me. So I mean, other flaws can be taken care of. The child may be rude But since the child is getting good marks, even the parents say, ma'am, so what? If the child is not obedient, if the child is not courteous to the others, if this is there, if the child is doing well, the child will get a good placement, and all is that matters. So what will we say? The mindset has changed. And we are responsible. I was in another seminar where they said it's so wrong to say I am stuck in the traffic. So it's actually the fact is that we are the traffic. We are constituting to the traffic. So here also blaming onto parents or blaming onto others is not right, because at some point of time even we are parents. We are not giving proper exposure, or I'll say due to XYZ reasons, we are also stuck in our imagination. We cannot think beyond that. So this is there.
Absolutely, ma'am. Very well said, ma'am. And I think it's very heartbreaking for any educator to see their student drowning into depression just because they could not crack an exam.
Very much, very true. So U-turns, they say, is unnecessary, because there is one on a lighter note. They said U-turns shouldn't be taken, because had Cinderella taken a U-turn and collect the sandal, then story would have changed. But life, when we talk of that as fairy tale, in life, U-turns are important. U-turns have to be taken at times.
Absolutely, ma'am. Moving forward, ma'am, why do you think, is it bad to form prejudice at an early age?
Very much, because we grow with that, and then the intelligence get affected definitely. You cannot enjoy the reality of life. Life in itself is, a rainbow. No, or not all vibrant colors, but there are shades of gray and black also. The child should be able to understand, should be able to experience, and should be able to enjoy all the travesties of life. And when we kill the imagination of the child by putting some prejudices, or whether the child has taken it up from whichever source, the child will not be able to enjoy life to its fullest. Life is so vibrant, it has so much to offer. And life always has a plan B. It doesn't have plan A. You will say it has, if any alphabet exists beyond Z, the life has that also. It is just for us to explore it and have the guts. Should be brave enough to take the untrodden path also.
Absolutely, ma'am. Lastly, ma'am, do you think is it easy to learn, easy to let it go the prejudice at an early age if a student, if a child has that?
I would say everything is possible. To begin with, we have to unlearn. And the biggest example was during the pandemic, what the teachers themselves exemplified. We had to unlearn the old methods. We had to learn new methods. Any teacher who said, it is not possible for me to take up the new technology, or I cannot take the online classes, wouldn't have survived only. So unlearning is important. So that prejudice, you can call that to be a prejudice as well. So you have to think that, because earlier ICT we have been talking about, I think for 10 years now, but it was only in the pandemic when each and every teacher, and then they had their own resources, they had their own means and ways how well they could, reach the children. Everybody couldn't. Let me be very candid about this. Everybody couldn't, but still it's like holding the fort. We held the fort. That is important. So if we could do it at that age also, in 40s and 50s, these children are, we'll say, wet mud. We can rewrite. It is just that we'll have to do it quite often. We need to get into the mind of the child and show that this is what life has to offer. Well, life has to offer a lot of things. And especially with our background, India as a background, we should feel privileged. We are such a rich heritage. We are having such a rich heritage that so many things are there. We only have to explore. Possibilities are there.
Absolutely, ma'am. Life has, too much to offer. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Rupika ma'am, for being here today. It was,
Thank
very
you.
wonderful listening to your viewpoints and experiences.
Thank you. It was a wonderful experience for me too. Thank you
Okay,
so
ma'am. Have
much.
a great day, ma'am.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.